There's a usually unbridgeable gap between theory and practice in writing, a gap as big as that between a vibrant Hans Hofmann painting and a monograph by a pinched art historian. So within this book, there is the writer's story, the play within the play that can surround the play, for if writing is on a level with other forms of art, it must have life, and the only life a writer, an artist, can know with any certain thoroughness is the writer's own. And if the writer's work is not somehow set in the context of the writer's life, there is nothing to let it partake of reality. I've written here about how my time in visual art, where line and form and color unfolded in ways that astounded me, how this taught me about writing. About how scenes come from places of mystery. And in the path I followed, there were skeletons and cadavers, as well as live nudes. Really lush live nudes. I've written about how writing, when performed on stage, in speech, or in singing, is raised in writing, how this brought me, like drawing, ever closer to my stories, and freed me, helped me get away from the traps of the English language. How more flowing versions of language, and of theater and song and visual images and movement did for me what many carefully measured English professors in their ersatz Gothic layers can never do. I've tried to depict some of the places of my past, bearing in mind Flannery O'Connor's dictum that writing that is not true to concrete reality, that falsifies reality, should be dismissed as pornography. And as I wrote, I knew I could not breathe and live in carefully constructed versions of reality into which I had been born. I find that I must, as all writers must, keep returning to the stories, always discovering something new in them, entering scenes that might have been forgotten or distorted or lost in the false but triumphant versions of others if I had not written them. Forgotten as if these scenes were like what does not come to an amnesiac wandering on a battlefield with no memory of what the battle had been about. I might not have totally forgotten the excitement of sex and knife-edge danger, but I might have lost what I had once known of love or of betrayal. Going back into where it began for me, the White Mountains of New Hampshire, the most perfect if formal summer homes in the most beautiful if scraggly landscape, inhabited by the most fine if overly correct people, it became, when moving to the page, a place of evil inhabited by monsters. Then another time, when writing, becoming somehow more fine, if not so right as before, and then places of first love, and then again, places that might be country for certain old men, but were no country for girls and boys. And simultaneously, my Lake Country boarding school with its Georgian buildings from long ago was changing too because of writing, from being a traditional dark place of torture to a life-saving place where I escaped the sorry fate that was supposed to be mine. Back and forth through these scenes, the changes, the complexities, and necessities of reality. I had to, have to, find out what had happened. Especially the complex story at the center of so much I have to tell. The story of my brother, the good twin, and me, the bad twin, the two of us winding up eventually on opposite sides in actual wars. Each of us having had to fight from the womb on for a corner of life, though at other times surfacing as actual human beings, sometimes even friends, sometimes even with hope, but then again returning to the peril we've been in from the beginning, and it could have led to my death. Probably my brother Peter's too, when he was with certain U.S. government agencies, and we were sometimes in the same countries, and I was sometimes underground with the opponents of America's favorite dictators, like Marcos, like Somoza. If I could not get to such stories and beyond them, then I was not practicing art. And if there was no art, only logic, then my work and life would have narrowed down so far that nothing mattered. The much dreaded disease called writer's block, which in reality is a symptom. Writer's block would have been the least of it. Writer's block, the friend of dictators in family, church, or state who will kill to save their falsified, self-serving versions of reality. Dictators and their allies, the demons. The demons who tell a writer that no one is interested in what you have to say, and any way you say it badly. The demons, and maybe your villains are better than you are, the demons say. Every veteran writer knows the demons who are so convincing about how you cannot really write, you are a fraud, you should give up on your own little versions, shut up, or at most copy the versions of your betters. Sometimes the demons win, and sometimes writers destroy their own stories. But the demons do not always win. Art keeps breaking out. Demons, but also art. Writing is art. This is my story. Let the demons be fucked. This means a great deal for me. And I'd like to stay and talk longer, but I have to go change my shirt.